Twitter employees are so liberal they wanted to defund the cop and the village people. So why would anyone in their right mind take them at their word that this was an honest mistake? Now, to their credit, the liberal media was consistent in their reaction, treating the second Hunter Biden laptop story the same as the first one and telling the public there was nothing to see here.
Putting those things back on the platform, juxtaposition with the argument that he's all about free speech, really undermines some of the central tenets of free speech.
It sort of shows is a real struggle at an important platform for how to deal with something so outrageous, so explosive, and what to actually do with it.
There is a long-running theme through Republican politics right now that big tech has censored conservatives. And that is enough. That is enough to have Republicans say, aha, this is exactly what we have been talking about.
So if you're keeping score at home, Elon Musk expressing himself undermines free speech, which is like saying freely visiting Pornhub undermines tissue sales. But stick with me. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about the revelations that Twitter clearly put their thumb on the scales of democracy and weighed in with this nonsense about helping American families.
Twitter was so haphazardly pushed this distraction. That is a full of old news, if you think about it. And at the same time, Twitter is facing very real and very serious questions about the rising volume of anger, hate, and anti-Semitism on their platform, and how they're letting it happen. And, the president said last week, more leaders need to speak out and reject this.
Translation there. I don't have anything in my binder that can bail me out of this, so please move on before I have to shake a magic 8-ball. No, not that kind of 8-ball, Hunter. Now, for my money, the biggest revelation remains the fact that if the Hunter Biden laptop is real, there's a real chance our president could be compromised. A wise man once said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Either that or Elizabeth Warren is sending a message. Let's meet our party panel and try to separate fact from the Democratic fan fiction at Twitter. Fox News contributor and professor of business and economics at the King's College in Manhattan, Brian Brenberg in the house. Yes. Boom. Hey. Former Biden campaign surrogate and Democratic strategist Kevin Walling here as well. Hey, girl.
Hey, Jimmy.
And last but not least, writer and comedian and dog sitter for Bixby, Charles McBee is in the house. Look at this.
Greatest accomplishment.
That's a great intro.
That's a hell of a credit.
That's a huge job.
And my dog is still alive. So he has been endorsed on LinkedIn for surviving.
Oh, man.
Oh, you guys. All right, Walling, let's start with you. You say this was
Please
all
don't. Let's not. Let's go to Brian.
No, Kevin, please.
Walling, you say this is all or nothing burger, which I find problematic because I think it is a little bit of a something burger, but more importantly, in your party, they're trying to ban burgers. So let's have this conversation. Are you concerned for your president right now?
I'm not necessarily concerned for my president. I want to see all the documents released. You know, when you cherry pick these emails, what we saw coming out of this is both Republican officials, Democratic officials reaching out to their contacts at Twitter to flag controversial things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes Twitter employees took that down, right? But I want to see all of the documents. I want to see the thought process that went into making those decisions, because it is such a powerful tool. And maybe it tipped the scales in some areas, in some key states. I think this election in 2020 was about COVID and the economy and things like that, not necessarily about Hunter Biden. I don't think it's a winning strategy to reevaluate that and go down that path again, but certainly there's more questions than answers at this point.
Okay. McBee, I'll just take you at that. McBee, who do you trust more? Liberal Twitter to protect democracy, or Cheech and Chong to protect your weed stash?
I'm gonna give
or
it to
Bixby.
Yeah, I give it all to Bixby. I don't trust anybody anymore.
He eats like he has the munchies, by the way, McBee. You might have blown that one.
Yeah, it's true.
You don't trust anybody.
No, I don't trust anybody, and I don't trust anybody to be objective when it comes to, the smoking gun or somebody doing something, not above board.
Okay.
Like, it's always blame. It's always when it's the other guy on the other team, we got to get him. When it's the guy on our team, whoa, nothing to see here, folks. So I don't bang Crip or Blood. You know me. I don't care about either side. Everybody's full of it, and it's just all.
He would never get through a Crip initiation. He has said this on the show before. What's your favorite band, McBee?
Wait, no, tell me.
Oh, Coldplay. He listens to Coldplay. Can you imagine he shows up to a Blood in the Crip get together and he's like, yo, before we thug out, can you put on a little Coldplay?
That's right. Blasting the scientists. That's right.
It doesn't end good. Listen, I want to throw this at you, Brenberg. There has been such a rush to discredit Elon Musk and, of course, Matt Taibbi, the reporter it was leaked to. But no one's actually speaking to the specificity of what was in those emails. So is this like when someone's setting you up on a blind date and they won't tell you if the girl's good looking or not? Like, shouldn't we be deducing something from the lack of intellectual curiosity?
Yeah, it's like we're not talking about the thing. We're not talking about the fact that, hey, Jim Baker showed up at Twitter and he doesn't want anybody to look at any of this stuff. And Elvis Chan, talk about Elvis on this show. He's pre-bunking the stories with Twitter and Facebook. Let's talk about Matt Taibbi and the fact that he is putting information out there, which all of us want. How about more of that? Let's talk about what he's got out there right now.
Well, I think there's a really interesting pivot going on because Matt Taibbi, as you know, was like a patron saint of the left. Kind of like Elon Musk.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody who wants Elon Musk hanged is driving a Tesla when they tweet that, which is crazy. But the fact that I believe he leaked it, well, not leaked it, but gave it to Matt Taibbi was an attempt to buy currency with the left. Maybe not you, Kevin Walling, who I find to be an honest broker of the facts.
Sweetheart alert.
But is there a faction on the left that no matter what Taibbi puts out there would ever own this?
100%. Yeah.
Who is that faction? You and your fiance? Who? What? The left's reaction to this right now, the left has gone full Shaggy. You know the Shaggy song, It Wasn't Me? The girl has walked in, seen them going at it on the floor, and he's like, it wasn't me. That's basically what we're down here. You're not denying the emails. You're not denying the emails. You're saying, hey, can we get more emails?
Not even more transparency.
Okay.
Of course, as part of this process. But listen, you know, the real winner in this is Elon Musk, right? He's making Twitter more relevant. That's all we're talking about across all news programs. He's a pretty smart business guy. This is part of his business model, talking about this, and that's all we're doing.
No question there. Let me ask you this, McBain.
Yeah.
Knowing what we know about business models and everything else, though, is a guy who is from the streets, from the cul-de-sacs.
That's right.
Of
I'm a
Toledo,
cul-de-sac
Ohio.
Negro,
Maybe not the streets, the cul-de-sacs. The guy who's from the cul-de-sacs.
That's right. The coldest of cul-de-sacs.
Aren't we kind of missing the forest through the trees that we're focusing on free speech and Twitter instead of what is on Hunter's laptop?
Look, I want to know what's on Hunter's laptop.
Well, it's
they say leave what is it? What's the phrase? Leave no stone unturned. Hunter's like stone. Who's getting stoned? I want to know.
Leave no stoner unturned. I see what you did there.
I want to know. But I want to know when it comes to everything. I don't care if it's Republican, Democrat. I want to know everything. If it's something that affects us, the people, it should be free. It should be free to us. And I think it's lovely that Elon is so for protecting free speech, unless it's a comedian who is making fun of him.
Oh, well, there's that.
True.
Well, listen, I want to really quickly, because Kanye West today did call Elon a half-Chinese lab creation.
Good guy.
Isn't it amazing how far we've come on Twitter that a year ago you couldn't say COVID was made in a lab? Now you can say the owner of Twitter was made in a lab? Give him some credit.